Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today we got the pleasure of watching Varsay playing in the Tier 9 Soviet heavy tank. It is the T-10. Now, this vehicle is one of the most popular tanks in the game, I guess because it leads on to the IS-7, or at least it used to, which is a fan favourite amongst Tier 10 tanks and I think the most widely played Tier 10 vehicle. Now, the T-10 leads on to the Object 277, which kind of makes sense. I think the Wargaming have made the line more progressive. There's less kind of learning the specifics of each vehicle, and it feels like you're slowly gathering momentum as you work your way up the tech tree with the different tank styles. And I love Wargaming adding in extra tanks. This is a shame when they always seem to be so many Soviet vehicles, but I guess you've got to understand because that's where the biggest majority of their market is, right? Nevertheless, let's focus on the situation at hand for Varsay, and that is that he's got a big old Moistion down this alleyway. Now you think, Moistion, Baby Mouse, Himmelsdorf, gonna be awesome, right? Well, yeah, not so awesome against heat rounds from a T-10 with 340mm of pen. The Moistion is doing absolutely everything they possibly can to be able to angle their armor, but it doesn't make a bean of difference. You can't really do that on the Moistion. You can do it on the Mouse, but this is very much the Diet Coke version of the tank. And that means the Varsay is easily able to just keep putting round after round through the Moistion's turret. Now, of course, the Moistion packs the bigger alpha damage, but when Varsay can put in 2 rounds for every time the Moistion fires, well, that's not going to go well for them. And the Moistion's not exactly unguilty from this premium spam. The only winner here is Wargaming, right, from this pay-to-win element of the game, as he plows in another heat shell right through the Moistion's turret, dealing 2,300 damage in the first 1 minute and 40 seconds. That's a good game by any standards in a Tier 9 tank, but Varsay is not done yet, having vanquished one of the enemy's top tier heavies in this rather nice matchup. Now he's going to plow on towards the more squishy Tier 7s, who are probably absolutely bricking it, considering they just saw their big heavy die right in front of them very quickly to this T-10. What are they going to be thinking now? They're going to be thinking, oh crap. Well, I guess we didn't support him very well, and it looks like this T-10's about to farm me up. Oh dear, oh well. I guess that's what the Tiger's got to deal with right now. It even looks like that poor Tiger has a stock turret. But the Jagdpanther feels, hey, I'm going to come in and save you, Mr. Tiger. Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to deal with this thing. Even with the 200mm of standard pen that you have on the Jagdpanther, unless you hit on the inside plate of the T-10 when it's angling like this, it's not really very likely to go through. And with a stock turret, does that mean that the Tiger's using the short 88 with like 145mm of pen? Ouch! Well, actually, the Tiger dabs a 2 key and goes right through the top of the T-10's turret there. Looks like it actually overmatches, unless that was the Moistion doing that earlier. Now Varsay, lower plate of the KV-3, nom nom nom. And I just realized, Varsay actually managed to kill that Moistion in 5 shots. Wow. High roll, high roll, high roll, high roll. Not bad luck there. Let's see if Varsay can keep that going throughout this replay as they pick up their 4th kill. And you know what? It's a blooming good thing that he's picked up 4 kills as well, because he's still down by 3 tanks of the team. The enemy have got 3 more vehicles, even though he's killed every single one of the enemy team that have died. Make that 4. Yeah, I don't think his team looks like they could quite find their way out of a paper bag right now. So Varsay has got his work cut out for him if he wants to be able to carry this one. And talk about carrying. That's an easy shot right there into the side of a standard B, and that is a very important tank. That's a Tier 9 Italian auto-reloading medium tank that could easily plow 3 rounds into Varsay. And, you know, it's such a difference when you're dealing with autoloaders if they're a 1-shot as opposed to if they're a single shot. If you can get them down to a single shot, then you can trade 1 for 1 with them. You really put the pressure on them, you know? So that was a really important hit there into that Italian medium tank and really could be game-changing. All right, once again, Varsay picks up his 5th kill here, so the only tanks that have died have been to Varsay's gun right now. And the Pantera kills the KV-3, the 257 kills the Tiger P, and we are in a 3 versus 10 situation now. Alright, well it begins with Varsay plowing into the back of the standard B there, who seems to be forced to either decide which way he wants to go. He's between a heavy tank Tier 9 sandwich right now. The Moistion comes round, tanks a shot, shuts down the standard B, and that will allow Varsay to get a bit of a respite here to be able to, you know, control the situation a little bit and come round and easily jam around into the side of the T-34's turret, securing a top gun. And now suddenly things don't look too bad. Well, I say that as the T-34 dies. So now it's, you know, it's only a 2 versus 8. Is that better odds? No, I think that's worse odds. Oh well, at least it's now 2 Tier 9s versus a Tier 9, 2 Tier 8s, and then some self-propelled guns and some Tier 7s propping it up as well. with the Type 59 harassing on top of the hill. Oh, sorry, I jinked the camera away there to look at the hill. And the 257 comes around the corner and Vase doesn't manage to penetrate the side of the Object 257 there. At one point, I think that vehicle had 40 millimeters of hull armor on the test server, and I think they buffed it up a little bit, which now means that it can ricochet up to 150 millimeter guns or 152 millimeter caliber guns. Pretty crazy stuff on the side armor there. And this is it. Tier 9 Soviet versus Tier 9 Soviet. Who's going to come out on top? There are 2 tanks inside the cap circle, so Vase is surely going to be flanked. Oh, good shot there. The 257 bounces, and Vase does not, putting in an armor-piercing round, I believe, into the lower plate of the 257. The Tiger P decides to leave the cap circle, which relieves the pressure of Vase, who decides to come around the corner and put one right through the upper plate of the 257. Angled like that, a heat round is easily able to go through. Pantera on Vase's left. He's got 54 seconds, thankfully. If the Tiger P had been in the cap circle now, he would have really had to have got forwards and maybe sacrificed a few hit points to be able to interrupt. But instead, the Tiger P decided to go and try and mess around to join the Progetto in, well, the standard B, in some kind of a Tier 9 heavy tank sandwich. Absolute Muppet play there by the Tiger P. Should have capped out. Should have put the pressure on. I know you're up tanks, but you're not going to be up tanks very much longer with plays like that, Sonny Jim. All right. Vase, already on a Radley Walters medal. The AMX 1357 ploughing his way down the hill towards the Moisture with the Pantera in support, and Vase is deciding to take out the Tier 7 Swedish tank destroyer. With the Tier 7 Swedish tank destroyer vanquished, now now Vase is going to have to try and stop the Moisture gangbang that's going on right now. And whoa, what a shot right over the top of the tank, and that was such an important shell. Not only because he gets to take out one of the autoloaders of the remaining team, but also because Vase only has 5 shells remaining, 3 armor-piercing rounds and 2 high-explosive rounds. And there's 4 tanks. Well, 2 tanks and 2 self-propelled guns on the enemy team to deal with. This is going to be a tricky one. Now, of course, those self-propelled guns, if Vase uses those high-explosive rounds carefully, he should be able to take out all of the self-propelled guns with those HE rounds, if you manage to penetrate their weaker spots. Look, there's the Lorraine spotted. Don't waste the shell, Vase. You've got to know what kind of a situation you're in. But that Type 59, I believe, was last spotted on full hit points. The Pantera one-shot. So how's Vase going to manage to do this? He's going to have to pick up a fire on the Type 5 Heavy, or maybe ram the Pantera, save the shell? Nope, doesn't decide to ram the Pantera or save the shell, which is probably the right decision, because that Tier 8 Italian auto-reloading medium tank would have easily been able to put in 720 average damage into Vase's lower plate there. Alright, the artillery are trying to flank. They're in the cap circle now. Vase thinks about going backwards to see if he can try and find out what the Lorraine 15555 is up to, but instead decides to go and have a little bit of a peek, I believe, at the Type 59. Type 59, no, not going to bother with the Type 59. Oh! And uh-oh. Ladies and gents, boys and girls, looks like that Type 59 drove like a donkey as he came round the corner. Now he's on his side. So Vase takes advantage of that, knowing that the Type 59 is out of the game, and the fact that there are 2 self-propelled guns in the cap circle to reload a high explosive round to try and vanquish the enemy artillery. Alright, 213 damage done by the Lorraine. Shell right into the side. Nice roll there. 340, almost guaranteed to kill, even with armor-piercing rounds there, but high explosive rounds probably more useful. Okay, Vase now loads an armor-piercing round, which surprises me because I thought the Tiger P actually has like 440 hit points. Surely be better to use the high explosive rounds on the AFK Type 59. You could probably shoot right through the belly, and in retrospect should probably fired an AP round there at that. Alright, Vase's going to need to one-shot this guy, or he's going to need to ram him, one of the two. He rolls 50-50 there with an armor-piercing shell, now with 1 AP and 1 HE shell to go and toy around with this Type 59. Alright, Vase also has his medkit on cooldown and a dead gunner, which means that his turret will traverse more slowly, and furthermore that he's going to be very inaccurate. But, you know, with 5 minutes and 58 seconds left on the game, how are you going to deal with a Type 59 here? It's got 1,300 hit points. The AP round does 440, and the HE round does 530. Alright, so even if you roll slightly high there, you're only going to deal like 900 damage, possibly 1,000 damage. You're going to leave the Type 59 on 1,300 hit points. Vase is going to have to either ammo rack the Type 59 or fire a high explosive round and maybe set him on fire, shooting into the engine deck. Good choice, Vase, but oh, it's an average roll, slightly below average. No fire, no ammo rack. We didn't see any critical damage either. All right, this is make and break moment here. What's this replay going to be like? And critical damage dealt, 2 crits. Was that an ammo rack? Was it a fuel tanks being slightly damaged? Maybe the engine just went yellow. It's not enough though, ladies and gents. Oh dear, the Type 59 is now on 348 hit points, and as we can see, the Type 59 is not AFK in this game, turning the turret round. Varse's got to be careful when he decides to go around to the left or to the right of the Type 59. Look, the Type 59 aiming behind. He could shoot Varse in the side here, and considering that Varse is on 362 hit points, that means that, well, you know, the Type 59, all he has to do is get 2 shots in, or maybe fires happen, and when you're not using a fire extinguisher on a tank like this, yeah, you got to be careful. Alright, so obviously, Varse could do the very simple thing, which is just to drive into the cap circle. He's still got time. He should be able to drive there in the next 2 minutes, and if he does that, he's going to be able to cap out. Well, he's actually got to get there slightly before 2 minutes, because you need to have 1 minute and 40 seconds left on the cap to be able to cap out. Alright, but Varse decides to go the long way round here to be able to sneak back once behind the Type 59, who is not aiming behind him. And that's actually very good for Varse, because if the Type 59 turns his gun round right now, he might be able to actually elevate enough to be able to get a shot into the side, but it doesn't look like that's the case. Alright, Varse says what the plan is, ladies and gents. Ram to 10k. It looks like Varse has a plan, and that is to ram the Type 59 to death without any ammunition. This is so greedy. This is so greedy. Rams the Type 59, leaves the Type 59 on 16 health and gets tracked. Hasn't repaired the tracks yet. Why don't you repair the tracks yet and do something? Oh, you repair the tracks now. Oh, God, no. The greed is real, ladies and gentlemen. Varse went for the Rezanai Heroes medal, went for 10,000 damage, and ended up 2 damage short. 2 damage short, ladies and gents, of that magical 10k number. Doesn't get a kill on the Type 59, and the Type 59, after the ramming damage that Varse took with that collision and an average roll, wins the game. So what an absolutely ridiculous round of World of Tanks. It pretty much had everything. It had a hyper carry, a peculiar situation, and then an unexpected result. Nevertheless, Varse picks up an ace tanker for 1,337 base for a loss, a Pascucci's medal for killing 2 self-propelled guns, a Pools medal for those 13 kills, 1 shy of the one that nobody gets, the Defender's medal for nailing 99 base defense points against that IKV, and then once again against the artillery, and a high caliber for 9,998 damage. Not quite the 10k that Varse was going for with that ram. Varse barely breaks even considering the large amount of heat rounds that they fired. But nevertheless, I don't think anyone usually expects a T10 to have to do 10k damage, and I would mostly expect that they'd fire their AP rounds rather than wasting the heat against low tier vehicles. And so Varse, oh my goodness, when I saw this replay for this first time, I absolutely freaked out about the ending. You put on a monster carry here, and half of me says that it was amazing that you had the balls to go for the Rezanai Heroes medal and 10,000 damage. But the other conservative side of me, you know, you threw it away by not capping, but nobody needs to tell you that. And this was still a fabulous game. And thank you so much for having the balls to upload this onto the WOT Replays website, even though you clearly made a bit of a fail at the end of the game, because this really was a riveting gameplay. So ladies and gents, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed this one today. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up, but if you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And let me know in the comments down below, are you heartbroken for Varse, or do you think that he got what he deserved from the greed? And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.